watching us for the first time in my free streams in the past 7 days, you may note. Actually, I've just realised I've not told the group this, but actually, Storm. I think no, I don't know if you've been watching this on the screen right now on the Twitch screen. We've got some overlays. I've
Well,
actually paid someone to put some effort into this. It's magic. So
This is I see.
yes, and you know what's really good about all this? You know what's really really good? This isn't just a stock image. I can edit this on the fly without having to edit the image. This is all code based.
awesome.
So shout out to at Calamity Kaz on the Twitter space. I think she also has a YouTube channel, but I can't remember the direct link off the top of my head. But it's at Calamity Kaz. If you're watching this on the Twitch page, if you look underneath the video, you'll see a link with her icon. Just click on that and it'll take you to her page. So shout outs to her.
Is the bot running? Is there not a command for CAS?
It should be. It should be just KAS. There we go. Ah, yeah. Fantastic. That's even better.
See? It's a good job one of us is a professional.
I set up the Nightbot.
yeah, but I remembered it existed.
And there's also another little one which I'll just show off real quick because I'm not sure if we'll use it this session or not, but if you're looking at the stream now, that looks real tidy, don't you agree? That looks real good. Anyway, we'll swap back over to the other one because that's the one we're using at this moment in time. So how are we all? We all good?
Yeah, good.
I sort of.
Other than frustrated with the
I'm trying to look. This kit is great, but like, not for a beginner.
Understandable.
Not that I'm a beginner, but like, I'm also an idiot, so I kind of fit myself in that same role.
Thank you. For those who are unaware, Storm is trying to build one of the new Mechanicus flyers that came out last Saturday.
Check my Twitter, guys. I got 3 of the buggers. It's going to be great.
I salute your efforts.
Excuse me, sorry. Well, I think it's time for the quick recap of what happened last time, and then we can get stuck in. Does that sound all good to everyone? Of course it does. Anyway, so last time on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. No, that's a different game entirely. Oofed. Good start. Let's see. You exited the basements that you woke up in. Stormed off. That still makes me giggle. And
I came back, though.
You came back eventually after realising you're scared of water.
Yep, it's as dumb as it sounds.
You basically had basically the entire discussion was a fairly long conversation with Lady Zaros, who's been identified herself by the colloquial name of Vix, and basically she's roped you into doing a small job for her to just to see if you would like to stick around, as it were. You had a bit of conversation. She showed you some of the things she's slightly capable of. She kind of gave you a bit of insight into vampire society within London as a whole. And you have been assigned the small task of trying to meet up with an individual who goes by the name of Diego. You weren't really given like a terrific amount of detail about him. All you know is that he is currently located inside of Newham. And the last thing you saw was Vic storming off into another room to go do her own thing because she's bored. So you find yourselves in the dining room that you spent a lot of time in from last time. You are in the room and it is pretty much left how he was before, except Anton is still in the room and he approaches you all. Oh, and also some of you took some knives just as like a quick personal defense weapon, just in case. I just need a quick reminder because I didn't make a note of it. Who didn't take a knife?
That would be me.
I thought it was you. Just wanted to make sure. And let's fix that up real quick. Cool beans, cool beans. Okay. Anton approaches you all. It's like, I trust that I trust that you all roughly understand what it is you need to be doing.
Seems fairly simple. Go to Newham, follow the fires, find this Diego person, get them to ring Vix, and hopefully come back here.
Good.
I'm assuming that's what you would like.
Yep. You were pretty much listening, so good job, you. The first step of following orders is listening to them. That's better than some are capable of. Anyway, I suppose that because you're getting put into the deep end here, I am going to respectfully offer any answers to any questions that you may have based on what you need to do. I can't say I can give you all the information you'll need, but if you need anything, just ask now.
No one else? Okay. Do we have any? Do you have any context in Newham? Maybe some of the local Finblood population, anything like that? Just to give us a little bit of an easier time.
Based on what the people we do have near the area are aware of, Newham is currently in control of the Anarchs at this point. A clan that is debatably recognised as a clan, to put it fairly to them. They are It really depends on what your political persuasion will either be. You'll either see them as a complete nuisance that needs to be eradicated, or a bunch of freedom fighters fighting for the betterment of their people. The Anarchs, as far as I can tell, they're not particularly fussy on the whole Finbud versus fully fledged sired kind of relationships. That's not something that matters to them, all things considered.
So we're not going to get immediately killed on sight. That's a comforting thought.
No, they are, I guess, progressive would be the appropriate word for them. They're not exactly going. It's not like you're going to Westminster, where you will probably get attacked on sight if if they realise you're vampires, especially Finblood. So consider this probably the easiest starting job you could have been given, which is fortunate. Normally, she's a lot more hostile to the new people and the jobs she assigns.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel privileged after hearing that.
You're not the only one.
I'm sure you'll do.
I'd be shocked if the intent wasn't for us to feel privileged upon hearing that.
True.
She may be my boss and she may be in charge, but I'm doing this out of my choice right now, not under the instruction by her. Take that however you wish.
So it's
Okay.
you we owe a favour now.
Could you say that again, please? Sorry.
So it's you we owe a favour to now as well.
He just starts laughing. Please, with my position in this clan here, I have everything I could possibly want and desire, and infinitely more. If you lot had something you could offer that I would want, I would have already taken it.
That's a comforting thought.
He just looks over and goes, I don't mean it through any disrespect, of course. I feel like when you've been alive as long as I have, you just stop caring for those below you. Hey, think of it like this. If you come back in one piece, that's one more rung up the food chain than you were before. And that means you're one step closer to me respecting you.
So we'll take it until then. I guess we're spare blood.
I think the best way to describe it is we don't like getting attached to people we have no idea whether or not they'll come back.
I believe I mentioned it earlier. Disposable assets is probably the closest term to how we're viewed.
It's not my fault.
In which
It's just what it is.
I need one more question before we go.
Mhm.
Is there anywhere within Newham where we should stay well clear of?
Hmm. He kind of paces the room a minute and thinks to himself, and eventually he responds, "If I was to give any advice on where you shouldn't or shouldn't go, I would say it would be best to avoid the border to the Tower Hamlets district. That area is currently being fought over between the Anarchs and God knows how many clans, and I can't imagine it's a crossfire you want to get caught up in."
Fair enough.
Good to
Good to
know.
know.
He thinks for a moment and goes, "Also, I guess it probably should be a piece of advice. Don't trust any police officers you see."
Why would I start now?
He laughs. I figured it. I figured you'd say something like that. I can't say for certain because each district is slightly different, and especially when it comes to the Anarchs, it's hard to say. But for the most part, it can be assumed that if you are in a certain district, whichever clan is controlling it at the time, more than likely controls the police of that area. When it comes to the Anarchs, they're not really fond of the police in the greatest respect. So it could be they're neutral, or they could be outright hostile to you. Still, not all of them are, but it's better to be. You better assume the worst when it comes to them, because some of them are definitely trained in how to kill vampires. Granted, they might not be. Granted, they might not be successful, but they might try. That's all I gotta say about that.
So the police are in on this as well.
Not okay. How do I phrase this? Probably all the major police chiefs are definitely in on it. Whether that seeps down to all their underlings, case by case basis. It's a trust thing. Very vampires, as we alluded to earlier, vampire society is still very much a secret. It is not something that's public information. If you went and told every single police officer that a vampire is at the helm of their particular precinct, there's a very good likelihood that that information would leak to the press, and then we start having a fuck ton more problems. Just because they have power doesn't mean they're stupid with it. Well, most of them aren't stupid with it. Some of them definitely are.
The habit of getting near the fuzz anyway, so right.
Shall we be off then?
He looks at his watch and goes, "I'd say the sun's down far enough now that it won't be distressing to you." He reaches into his pocket and hands over to, he's probably stood closest to Talon, some tickets for the Underground. This one's on me.
Good to know. Thank you.
Hey, we're getting short on power, on vampire power here, shall we say? So if you come back, it's at least a good sign that you're at least worth some salt. Anyway, I've got my own things to see myself to. Do take care, and don't do anything stupid. He says that as he glares at Julian.
Yeah. You mean, don't be the only one here that's actually useful in a fight. Great.
I said don't do anything stupid. I didn't say do anything self-preserving. He pretty much, and then he just leaves the room. You're now alone.
Right. Lambeth Station then.
Sounds like a good stop.
Yep.
You make your ways up the stairs and outside. into outside the one of the side entrances to the building. If you peek around one of the corners, you definitely spot the front entrance to the club. Although, as it is on the day of starting, it seems to be seems to be no prep for it to be open. It seems to be closed today. You start meandering your way towards Lambeth Station. It is not a bitterly cold night, but to be fair, you're probably not. You probably realise that the cold doesn't affect you as much as it used to. It's a bit of pitter patter of rain, but nothing like it's not outright pouring it down, but just enough to be noticeable. You eventually make your way into the underground on Lambeth Station. It's pretty empty for this time of day. Probably around 8 or 10 people waiting to getting onto the next tube train, and it's only about 5 minutes before you find yourselves entering one. It's quite bustling for the location and inside, but it's not too cramped that you can't move about in it. And there's enough space for all 4 of you to sit near each other in a fairly close proximity to each other. Does anyone say anything to each other, or shall I just continue carrying on?
I have a quick question. While I'm when I'm not on the actual tube train itself, does my ears do that weird popping thing, or does that not happen anymore?
You don't get that.
Ah, I guess there's something good about it.
The small things. The small things. Okay. As you start taking it seems to be you've got onto the train that's going to take the longer way around rather than the short way around, going from west to south to east to northeast rather than the shortest distance. That's fine. Not many people get on, and the train mostly clears off. A few people still find themselves on the train, pretty young looking, for the most part, with maybe an elderly couple on a few of the benches up away from you. You probably hear over chattings of people talking all kinds of slang. Maybe 1 or 2 people speaking a foreign language to you. It's all just kind of the usual late night train things. As you
Scarborough's listening to music with one earbud and the other one open so she can keep an ear out for if the others say something to her, but she's trying to use the music to kind of focus, because I imagine it's a bit of a sensory overload with how loud the tube can be and with their new heightened senses, essentially.
Yeah, it is pretty loud, especially from what you're used to.
Yeah, she's just trying to focus on that, and it's mostly quiet.
Julian.
Yes.
A man approaches you, probably in his late 30s, wearing a kind of a smoking jacket, and you can probably spot a 3-piece suit. He goes, "Sorry to bother you, sir, but I wouldn't suppose you have a smoke."
So yeah, I do. I reach into my pocket and pull out some smokes.
He just grabs one from, I'm assuming, pre-rolled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulls one out very delicately and without touching the others.
I just look at him and like, just next time bring your own, right? Because they don't put spares in the packet.
He laughs. He goes, "Sorry, busy day." He puts it in his mouth, but he doesn't light it up. Busy day. Would have picked up more, but I've ran out. You know how work can be.
As I've done that, like I've put the pack of smokes away with one hand, and the other hand has gone to the pocket with the knife in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, you're a lifesaver. Thank you. He just sits on the bench opposite you, and he just kind of like he feigns smoking. He seems to be more into the habit rather than the actual smoking part.
You tried vaping, pal?
You can't. He just looks at you and goes, "You can't vape on the sub. That's one way to get yourself arrested."
Well, That's true. But I meant just in general.
He just laughs. What's the point? We're all going to die anyway, so might as well enjoy what little substances we can.
I kind of nod my head and say, here's to that then. And then I just kind of turn my back to him, but in such a way that, like you can see the reflections of people in the window on the tube, so I'm always watching him.
He gets the train stops a couple times before on his way, and he gets off at Greenwich Station. He pats you on the shoulder as he leaves and goes, "Thank you, by the way. Won't forget it."
No worries.
The door closes and it continues on. The rest of the train at this point is pretty much empty. You're the only ones left on it. And after a short delay, you hear over the tannoy, now arriving at...
Have you been smoking?
I wish I've been smoking. Now arriving at Newham Station.
I just look to the others and give them a nod and make to get off.
Yep.
The train comes to a full stop, and you leave the station. As the train moves quite quickly after you get off, the sudden loud rattling in your ear of the train's a bit uncomfortable, but not exactly damaging. Just heightened hearing can affect that a bit. Let me just bring up a character sheet real quick. Don't know all the skills. Could everyone make an awareness test for me, please?
So, can do.
That would be using
Wits and awareness.
wits and awareness. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Right.
I might muck this up because this is my first roll on this. So
Of course,
give me a moment.
If you don't mess up the first one. So I think I've worked out how this works properly. So I'm just going to roll on Cups sheet because I've got it. It's the one I have open just for reference. We go to... Do you not have awareness, Storm? What you did?
I do. I have ranks in it.
It says you've rolled 4 dice and you've...
Yeah. Which,
I think the... Oh, that's just Oh, it doesn't list both your passes and successes, just your successes. That's weird. Oh, well.
So. It's still asking me for modifiers. Do I just leave that as 0?
Should leave it at 0 and that should work.
Okay.
Anis? Oh, second.
Sorry, I'm struggling with this because it's not wanting to.
What's it saying at the moment?
There we go. I think that's it.
Yep, that's rolled it. Wow, everyone's failed. Actually, well,
Even with 2 successes.
No, it's a low. It's a low bar actually. So no, it's just almost everyone's rolled only 1 success on each of the rolls. Anyway, carrying on. Everyone that's rolled 1 success, you hear what appears to be some kind of shouting going on from the exit way of the tube station. It's very hard to kind of fully grasp what's being fully said, but it's the basic words you can pick up is get over here, move over there. It's basically people shouting orders and directions. Do you exit the subway? I know it's not subway, but
Yeah, I
American version.
mean, I checked like the exit, right? Like just to make sure which because I've never been to Newham. I can't remember. I don't know if it's got more than one exit from the tube. If there's more than one exit, I take the one that avoids the loud voices.
I'm not sure if it has more than one exit, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but that's based on what research I can find. Are you by chance aware, Stephanie, if it does or not?
I don't believe I've been to Lambeth Station, so I
Okay.
assume it's probably just the one exit, but I would also kind of steer away from the loud shouts.
Okay.
I'll actually go investigate.
Okay. You climb up the stairs. I'm assuming you kind of like trance up slowly a little bit, just so you can as soon as your eyes get into level with the ground, you can see what's being seen.
Yep.
What you can spot when you pop your eyes over is you see a couple of police officers in riot gear. They look like they are basically forming some kind of formation and are marching up the street.
Fun. Let's avoid
I'll
that
make
like
the
the
others
plague.
aware of this.
Okay, what did you say, Talon? Sorry.
Oh, I'll let Cups go first.
She said she's just informed. She's just extended what I've just told her to the rest of the group.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to turn around to everyone if there's all in earshot. I'm going to say, yeah, we should probably avoid going that direction, like.
Well, even if we do have to go that direction, we should give it a minute. Let
Yep.
the police line get ahead,
Yeah.
and then follow behind.
You wait. It probably takes about 5 minutes for the shouting to die down from your heightened hearing before you stop hearing it. Stop hearing the orders being barked.
Do we know roughly whereabouts, what direction it went in?
They would, so if you would, because I haven't got a map for this because I'm trying to describe it as much as I can. If you was to exit the station, you have a street going. Basically, you're on the path. You go up to the path, and it's one large street. It goes forwards and it goes backwards. You saw that the police line was going forwards. That makes sense. So if you go up the stairs, if you kept moving forwards, but when you leave the stairs, that's the direction they went, and you didn't hear anything from the other direction.
This is a rough idea of where to go.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, you broke off a little bit.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Could you just repeat that, please?
I was just saying how it just gives us a rough direction of where they're heading and where everything could be going on. So,
I almost dread to ask, but do I see any fires? Do I smell any fires? Is it all coming from the direction the police just headed in?
There's definitely some lingering smell of smoke in the air. You can probably hear a fire engine or two nearby, but it's. I'm assuming you're still inside the underground at the moment.
Yeah.
So without being out on the surface, it's going to be very difficult to tell the direction and where they're coming. So you'd have to go to the surface.
At the moment we end up on the surface, I will be looking for fires.
Yep.
Okay. So you climb out slowly out of the subway, being sure to take your time. It's a bit of a chaotic area at the moment. You can see the police line has moved quite far forwards. However, some of the area around you has definitely already been affected by looting, riots, protests, etc. It looks like most of the damage has been done to the southern area, but the police line seems to, if you used to peer forwards where you can see the actual line being made, you can definitely see that they're not going any further forwards, that they're kind of being reached the halting point where they can't advance any further. I would say, does a quick background check on everyone. Does anyone's character live in this area?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So no extreme familiarity with the area. There is a one of the typical local maps as you get near the outskirts of the underground. If you want get like a reorientation of where you are.
Pull out my phone, Google Map.
Of course. Yeah. I'm so used to not having phones in my RPs. I forget that's always an option.
Yeah, modern RP. Look, we just use Google Maps. That's it. We go to Street View and we just like proper perv on the location.
Okay. So you look at the area you're in right now. You feel like if you went to the area, if you basically go the opposite direction, you could, in theory, loop. After a bit of a walk, you could probably loop all the way around, and assuming that you can find a way of getting past, because you don't know, obviously, if each street has got a police line on it, you feel like if you walked far enough around, you'd probably be able to get to the other side of the police line.
Yes, let's take the long way around and try and avoid as much of this. She gestures around as possible.
That's what I was interpreting what you guys wanted to do then. Am I correct in that, ma'am?
Yeah, we would not want to go.
Okay.
And if we do encounter the police and we have to deal with them, if anybody's got any knives, we ditch them before we get that close, and you just comply. Right? We're not here to cause a scene. We're here to pass a message.
Okay.
Okay.
You start making the way around. It's a bit of a long trawl, as it's one of the longer streets in the area, so it does take a good while before you reach. You're probably like at the halfway point of the street comparatively to. So you basically have to probably take the longest possible distance. You have to get up to the front line. You go around the corner of the street to try and get into the next one along the path. You see that one has a police line halfway down it as well. I'm assuming you will just keep going up the streets until you find a clear pathway through. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably go up about 4 or 5 different streets, but eventually you find a one where a line where a police line hasn't caught up yet. I'm assuming are you running down the street? Are you just casually walking? How are you approaching it?
Just keep casual. Well, JD will like kind of set the tone and just keep casual and walk down and try not to draw attention to him.
You walk down the street. It's a bit of a chaotic looking place. It looks like it's one of the more lower run areas of the district. You definitely spot homeless people every now and again on the street corners. Most of them look like they're gathering their things because they're almost knocked something over. Most of them look like they're gathering their things kind of because in preparation before the police get here so they can move along without being disrupted. Pretty casual. You overhear the conversations. Most of it's on topic of the protests that's going on at the time. It's just usual daily life, typical things you'd expect given the situation that's going on. You eventually reach the end of the street and you loop back round and you eventually start seeing a large crowd of protesters. You can see them cheering, chanting during the police. Maybe see the occasional one throwing like a beer bottle or something every now and again. But because of the sheer quantity of people, it looks like they're doing a pretty good job holding the front line where it is. Sorry, what's that?
I was about to ask, is there anybody, as we look around at the scene, is there anyone standing like aside from it, like watching it intently, looking like they might be involved in it, but not actually engaging?
You definitely spot a few people, because if I was to describe it appropriately, there's the wall of riot shields, and there's like a massive clump of people all pushing in, and there's a bunch of people probably around the outskirts of it. You do spot a couple people every now and again, kind of just watching up from like the street over, just keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
Do you spend time? What would the group like to do? Is there anything you try and spot? Anything? Do you like try and talk to the people there, or how you?
It's not our problem. Like JD's going to keep moving to try and head towards the location he needs to go.
Well, you weren't given a location. You said you was given a cryptic clue.
I was gonna say, is there like any sort of leader figure like in the group that we can see or hear?
They're probably at the back of the group. You could probably hear you'll spot one guy in a brown kind of overcoat. He's got a megaphone. And he's probably doing the one that's probably the most quote unquote organizing the people there, trying to keep them in tow. But he seems to be probably the most important kind of person there, and he's at the very back of the crowd, just out of the bit where everyone's pushing effectively.
Okay. Roughly where that guy is, at the back. Is there anybody who's been pulled for the one front who's been injured, or?
There's definitely people that look like they've been hurt. Fortunately, it seems like a lot of people there. There are some people with what appear to have first aid training or training, not trading, who are caring to some of the people around the area. So it doesn't seem like there's a need for medical assistance, but you can always go ahead and ask if there's anything you need to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn around to the group. I'm just gonna. If there's someone here who we need to speak to and they're organising this, I think volunteering over there by the people who've injured themselves might be a good way of getting themselves noticed. Excuse me. And I'm going to head over towards them and I'm going to ask if they need any help.
Does anyone follow him?
I'll follow him and kind of slowly beeline my way towards the main guy with the speakerphone, and also just kind of keep an eye out if there's then people on the sidelines that are watching me then approaching him.
Okay. I'll do Talon a little bit first, and I'll go to you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. So you approach her, and you see probably in front. I'm assuming you're looking for. Are you looking for someone who looks like they're managing people, or are you just looking for any first aider there?
I'm looking for either someone who looks like they're administering and also in charge, or someone, if it's not that organised, I'll just try and find out if I'm just going to literally go up to the nearest person who's actually trying to help, and I'm just going to go up to them.
You are able to pick out from the group a what appears to be a young woman of colour. She's about 5'8", and she looks like she understands what she's doing. She's kind of giving people instructions on what to do. She seems to be seems to be going between person to person rapidly, trying to give quick assessments and running through, while other people are spending more time administering first aid. So that seems like a person, an organizer of some kind.
In which case, I'm going to keep this quick. I see that you're busy. I am qualified in quite a lot of medical procedures. Is there any way I can help?
She goes, "Oh, thank Christ! I thought we was running out of first aiders, and then another one shows up." Right, look, I don't know what you can do. I've never seen you before in my life. She points her finger up the street, and you can see there's people lining against the wall. Most of them sat down. I need you to check people to make sure they're not critical. Anyone who isn't critical can go home. Anyone that seems like they have broken arms, problems breathing, anything like that,
concussion, yeah.
Make sure that they get some care. If obviously I don't have things to provide proper medical assistance, so you're gonna have to improvise. It's like sticks for branches, for pseudo splints, whatever. Just do whatever you can to help. It would be much appreciated.
Not a problem. And I head over there and I start looking at people periodically to see if they need any medical help. One thing I will say is I probably would have taken the first aid kit with me, just in case.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you go around, you're checking people. No one seems to be in life or death situations. Some are pretty hurt. You probably assess a couple, maybe a broken arm or two, but nothing that's absolutely dire.
Okay. Well, the guy who's broken the arm, I'm just going to ad hoc make a splint for their arm. I'm going to say it's going to hurt like a bitch for a few weeks, but it will be absolutely fine. I still recommend getting to a hospital though, but you shouldn't have any problems.
Well, you do your thing. Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you approaching this guy? You just going to saunter up saying, "What up, my dude?" Or you're just going to tap on his shoulder, get his attention?
She's going to kind of beeline her way through, and as she's going through, she's would I be able to say that she would have a bottle of water on her?
I'm
thinking from the previous night out, would she have brought something like that with her. But
I mean, if you haven't left anything, if you didn't leave your stuff at the nightclub, then I imagine you would have had something like that with you.
Yeah, she just like a sealed bottle of water. She's just gonna beeline her way over to him and hand him the sealed bottle of water.
He grabs it. He kind of like he doesn't like impolitely snatch it from your hand, but he's like very abrasive. He goes,
Yep.
Kind of says, "You're an absolute lifesaver." He takes a good neck down. Is like, ugh. Trying to organize these people is just an absolute hell. But
yeah, when did all of this kick off?
Are you talking about tonight specifically, or why we're doing it in the first place?
A bit of both, really.
Okay, so TLDR. Let's see. Overall, probably a few different reasons. You've probably seen events going. Okay, you've probably seen events on the TV and all that. This is an equalities protest. It's a riot. Yeah, it's a riot. Let's call it what it is. It's a riot. This one is because these guys decided it would be a very smart idea to start tear gassing peaceful protesters, and we're not having that here. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, fuck that. Absolutely. I'm actually looking for a friend of mine. He might have gotten. He might be somewhere around here, or you might have heard of him. Are you from Newham?
Kind of. More of a foreigner, but I live in Newham now, so that's what it is.
Okay.
I can't say I know everyone here, but if he's one of the organisers, I might be able to help point him out.
Yeah, that'd be great. You might have spoken to him. His name doesn't come to me at the moment, but if you have anyone else who is kind of similar to you, organising this, helping to get everyone's attention to this.
He goes, okay, let's see. There is Cedric, who is about 3 streets that way. He is one of the main organisers for this particular protest. He's a good lad, doing a good job. There is Armina, who is... He just kind of points vaguely in the direction of that street. It's like, I don't know, I haven't heard from her in like 3 hours, so it's hard to say. And let's see. Diego's fucked off somewhere again, and I have no idea where.
Do you know? I think that was the guy I was supposed to come and find. Do you know whereabouts he might be? Where some of his local haunts might be?
He just looks at you and goes, "May I ask why you're interested in finding him?"
Oh, honestly, I heard about the protests. I wanted to try and get in contact with as many people as possible who are behind rallying this amazing group.
Huh. A person for the cause, eh? You don't. Most people here are here because they're either emotional or upset, but you look like you've done some of your reading. So, go you.
Well, I'm still very green to this, but I'd like to think I might be able to help if I can.
Okay, he turns around and thinks. Give me a moment. He pulls out.
Sorry, I'm back.
He pulls out his phone and starts and dials. Okay. Hey, Diego, where are you? What do you mean you can't talk right now? What's that noise in the... One second, I'm going to put you on loudspeaker because I can barely hear you. It's like, okay, can I hear you? And he says, yeah, I'm okay. Having a good time here. You can hear him giggling in the background. It's like, okay, what's that noise? Because there seems to be a random kind of tapping noise coming through the phone. It's like, well, I don't know how to explain this, but I've nicked a police horse. Okay, why have you done that? Because, fuck 'em. Look, I got someone here that says they're after you. Where do you want to meet? It's like, do I look like I have the free time to be finding people, to be meeting new people? Well, look, they seem like they might be useful. At least, can I at least send them to where you normally stay, and we can see you there later? Yeah, sure, whatevs. Make sure they're there at an unreasonable time, however. Yeah, sure, whatever. Just return the fucking horse. And you just hear the phone, no promises, and he just hangs up.
I have a feeling I'll know him when I see him.
Yeah, that's definitely apparent. They're probably not getting that horse back. Okay, so he turns around where basically the opposite direction the protesters are. You go up that street, keep going, not the second right, not the third, not the first right, the second or the third, but the fourth right down that street.
Mhm.
Building number 26. If you go there, there's a few people in there. Tell them that Hayne is sent you, and they'll let you in. Okay?
Hey, cheers, mate. I really appreciate it.
Not to worry. All right, you take. Hey, thanks for joining the cause. It's much appreciated.
Police firing tear gas into peaceful protests. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, fuck that noise. He starts shouting out onto the megaphone again.
Cool. I try and like make eye contact with the rest of the group and then gesture to follow in the direction I'm going.
I may have to make an awareness check on that. I might be busy.
I'd say you're probably being attentive to other people, to where your group is as you're doing that. So
Okay.
So you probably noticed. Do you quickly speak to the woman you said before you left? You when you started?
Yeah, I will do.
So
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say to her then?
I say, I've done what I can for a few of them. Thankfully, nothing serious. Might need to go to a hospital, a couple of them, broken arms and that kind of business, but they should be absolutely fine. I'm actually here for a reason. I'm trying to find this guy called, what's his face again? Diago?
Do you mean Diego?
That's it.
She turns around and points to the guy with the megaphone. But you want to speak to Hayne then? He's probably the most likely person to know where he is.
I look over to Hayne and I see that I've been waved over. It's like, I think someone beat me to it. Take care of yourself and, you know.
You too, sir. And she's
yeah.
basically very quickly goes back to the rest of the group.
Okay.
Sorry, remind me, what was the building number again? I'm just making a note of it.
26.
Thank you.
I'm assuming Julian and Zachary have noticed their input.
Yeah, I mean, Julian would have made himself like a space between Scarborough and oh god, brain has gone. No, can't remember. Tell's character's name. Scott. It's right there. It's on front of me. I'm not looking at the stream. Oh, bloody hell! Because I was looking at the overlay. Because I was like, brand new overlay. There's got to be a clue here somewhere. Come on, Brain. Oh, jeez. All right. Just someone put a bullet in me now. That'd be great. Thanks.
Nah, not gonna happen.
Yeah. So I'd have made a space between myself and Scarborough and Scott, and just hunt around so that I was close enough to help either of them should shit.
Okay. You eventually catch the group all kind of reunites with each other. You start making your ways down the street. Do you say anything along the way, or are you just kind of keeping quiet to yourselves for the time being?
I do say to the others what Hayne said, that he's one of the three that seem to kind of help organize this, and apparently he's stolen a police horse, so he might be relatively easy to spot.
Well, at least it's going to make it more. What do you mean, stolen a police horse?
Scarborough just shrugs. Is that normally how protests go? I don't get involved with this usually.
Right. Oh God. Right. Okay.
I think if we just kind of don't stick out, just go with the flow and just see how this goes. I mean, we haven't been stopped by police yet, so that's a good sign. I think if we just kind of keep our heads down and keep moving.
Yeah, non-threatening.
Okay. You make your way up the street. The further you get away from that line, the more disorganized the protesters, as it were. You can see people looting shops. You see all kinds of things, people running out with like electronics, TVs, all this kind of stuff. You see one guy who is vehemently and adamantly serving his hot dog stand. He seems to be a bit overly ambitious when it comes to serving people, but it is what it is.
I'm just going to look at the guy and shout, "Respect!"
It's like he just shouts back, "You want a hot dog?
No, thank you.
50% off, especially for protesters."
I'm just going to keep going.
He just thinks, come on. I'm trying to make a living here.
Sorry, guys, I had to. Whenever I see effort being put in like that, you have to acknowledge it.
What, so you're actually going to get a hot dog?
No, I'm just going to keep going with the fruit. The temptation was there, but no, I'm going to keep going. I couldn't eat it anyway.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're one of the two that can't. You make your way up your street, and as it kind of... most of this area has definitely been affected by the riot. However, it seems like there's only the occasional chill people kind of in there. You do get a couple uncomfortable looks from some of the locals nearby, as well. You're probably much more well dressed than anyone else here at this point. I
mean, the lab coat probably looks a bit weird.
You probably get one or two people walking up to you asking for if you have any change. But no one that tries to like hold your attention much more than just general trying to grab you effectively.
Right.
You make your way. You finally reach the end of the street, and you turn to the right, where, as per Haynes' instructions, it's not quite far up to reach number 26. It appears to be just a small corridor that you assume is leading up to an upstairs flat, and the door is closed.
Okay, first thing I'm going to do is just kind of listen, because he seemed quite a loud individual. So if I'm going to hear any kind of commotion or chatter happening on the inside, or if he's not back yet from returning or charging through the police, and we just have to wait for him to get back.
I mean, you could always knock. If you're listening inside the door, you might hear like maybe what sounds like a television on inside there, and maybe some murmurs of some discussion on the inside, but nothing like that's not completely tangible through the door, if that makes sense. You can hear like parts of words, but not a full word.
Okay. Scarborough will look at the others, just trying to get the silent go ahead, and then she'll knock on the door.
Takes a good minute and a half before the door you hear any response, but after about 2 minutes, you see the the little eye slit that you can open up and you can see people look through. You see a pair of green eyes stare through. It's like, what do you want?
We need to talk to Diego.
He's not here.
Is he out still riding around town?
Don't know. Who sent you here?
Look, we're just the messenger. We're sent to talk to him.
Who?
She shrugs.
Look, Haynes said we could find him here. What we've got to discuss is for Diego.
Huh. Haynes sent you. You're looking to join up in the protests?
Yeah. This one, and I gesture towards Scott. Has already been getting involved, medical work and stuff. And I kind of look at just point to the lab coat.
Someone had to.
Can always use more doctors. Give me a second. Closes the slit, and you probably hear a few locks go turn and churn from behind the door. As the door opens, you see a man, pale complexion, about 6'2", wearing just typical kind of generic wear, jeans, white shirt with a flannel shirt over it, decent pair of trainers, and he's got slick black hair. Name's Cedric. Anyway.
Nice to meet you, Cedric.
Excuse me, sorry. Haynes says that... I'm sorry, my throat is kind of closing in on itself a little. Let me just get a
You alright?
Yeah, I just need a drink.
Yeah, that's all right. Take a minute.
Delicious. There we go. So it's like, please, come in. Sorry for the initial rudeness.
Nah, it's fine. We understand things are tense at the moment.
You have no idea. You see a stairwell behind him. It leads up into a room upstairs. It's quite a spacious flat. It's definitely a typical boys' flat, as it were. Kind of discarded pizza boxes on the floor. A few games consoles strewn about the place with a bunch of controllers. Seems to be the only one inside the house at the moment, though. No one else seems to be in the room. It's like a few sofas to sit into and an armchair. It's a bit of a mess, but it's home. Like, I would apologise for the mess. I would have cleaned up earlier, but I've been managing the phones non-stop, and they've only just stopped in the last, 8 minutes or so, it's been busy night. Busy night.
That's fine. I think we get it. But as I said, we're here to talk to Diego. Haynes said we could find him here, sent us up, so we're just gonna take a seat if that's okay.
Feel free. I'm not exactly the most homely person in the world, I will admit. Drinks. I've got tea, coffee, got some beer if you're into that.
No, thank you.
I'm good.
I'm alright, mate. My head's still reeling from last night.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a couple of days.
You with the green hair?
I'll take a coffee if that's alright.
Sugar, milk?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Quickly brews you up a coffee. He brews you up a coffee and he hands it over to you. It's definitely quite strong. Not sure if that's what your preference is, but it is what it is. And he makes it known. So, I feel like I'm not normally the quote-unquote recruiter, as it were, but I suppose I could always ask some questions while you're here. How'd you hear about Diego?
We heard from a friend who said that they're an acquaintance of them and came here to see if we could get in contact with them.
I'd say I'm pretty familiar with Diego's friend circle as a whole. So, who is it? I might know them.
I don't know. Maybe my words are a little strong there.
I mean, the gist is, we heard that as far as all this, Diego's the man to talk to.
Yeah.
Is this really gonna be you can only talk to one specific person, you can't just leave a message with me?
Yeah, well, as said, we have a message for him from someone else. And, as much as we're interested in helping out with the protests, that's why we're here. But we are happy to help out with the protests.
Right. Now, forgive me if I were you, but I'm now incredibly suspicious. Does any of you have any weapons on you?
I don't.
Of course we do. Well, not him, but
I at least respect your honesty, but I'd like you to just he kicks a bag over to you and is like, I want you to put them in there for the time being. Just a bit of mutual decency, if that's okay.
Fair enough. Scarborough reaches down and she pulls the switchblade out of that was tucked inside her Doc Martens.
Huh. Does everyone else do it?
Yeah, I pull the butterfly knife out and give it a twirl before closing it shut and putting it in the bag.
He just looks and goes, so either you guys are a bunch of LARPers, or perhaps people with a bit more experience. You don't normally see people carrying around switchblades. He takes the bag away from you.
To be fair, it's London at night and things are getting tense out there in the world.
To be fair, he starts lighting up a smoke himself. Oh, by the way, if any of you want to smoke, feel free. There's no, like, I don't care if you're smoking here.
Scarborough lights a cigarette.
He looks at you and goes, all things considered, even as far as I'm aware, I'd probably say a good 99% of the protesters don't carry weapons on them. Then again, if you guys aren't actually in the protests yet, but if the police got you and saw you carrying weapons, probably not the best look, all things considered.
Well, we made a point of saying we were going to ditch the weapons if the police got anywhere near.
Smart at least. I'll give you that.
And if we're as potentially dangerous as you suspect, just want to point out, putting the bag over there really isn't like any problem.
He just looks at all three of you. I'm pretty sure I can take what appears to be a doctor, an Instagram model, a student, and I have no idea what you are, sir. In a fight, all things considered.
Judging by what we've seen recently, it wouldn't be surprising.
You sound like you've seen hell.
I'm just gonna give him the look. Like, I'm just gonna see if he reacts. Is this guy in on it? Does he know?
Oh, so what are you doing, sorry?
I'm trying to gauge whether or not this guy has either one figured out what we are, or if he's something unnatural.
He's definitely eyeing all of you up very rapidly. He's keeping his eyes are shifting between all of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna notice that. So I, for one, am smart enough not to pick a fight with something that could probably end my existence very quickly.
He just looks at you. I think most people have that intelligence.
Not all.
He just chuckles. I like you.
I will take that as a compliment.
He just looks at his glass and goes, I'm not really feeling a coffee tonight. Been busy, I deserve a drink. I'm gonna go into the other room for a minute. Don't steal anything while I'm not looking.
Scarborough pulls out her phone and she checks like the Twitter feed to see if she can see anything about the protests and if a guy is still riding around on a horse or if he's kind of buggered off and he's on his way back.
You're kind of looking through all the usual kind of hashtags that would kind of be popping up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag horse vamp. Hashtag horse thief. I don't know. Come on, there's got to be a better hashtag for.
You do see you do find some videos of that's been rapidly shared of a guy that is actually riding on a horse and who is not wearing a police uniform. He seems to. You kind of look at the area around it. You see, he's probably not too far from where you are. Maybe probably a couple streets up or down, maybe. But obviously, this video was uploaded about 5 minutes ago or so. So it's kind of hard to say, and you can't really get an accurate look at his face as you because it's been taken from angles that aren't flattering to see.
Okay. As she's doing that, she's just gonna get up and kind of as though she's just stretching her legs, but she's just trying to see if she can keep sorry, what's his name? Cedric somewhat in her peripheral, but just she's still looking at her phone. But kind of if she glances up, she can see where his shoes are. So she has an idea if he's going to grab a weapon or something.
He's gone into another room and closed the door behind him.
Okay.
He's about 5 minutes in, and 5 minutes later he comes back out and goes, sorry about that, just wanted to clean my face up a little bit. He looks like he's had a quick shave in the bathroom and tidied himself up a little bit.
Out of respect, Cedric, I'd like to point out that he did leave us in the room with the bag, right?
Oh, I should have said he took the bag with him.
I was gonna say, cause I was gonna make a pin of it of like we haven't touched it, although we could have, just saying.
It's like he just comes up and goes, Normally would take more care of myself if I was expecting guests, but I've been in this room for about the past 4 days, so I've been busy. Scarry, you would have been quite close to him when you were stretching your legs, wouldn't you? Near the door, weren't you?
Yeah.
You do spot a drip of red on his coat.
She doesn't say anything at first, just kind of thinking if he's noticed it himself. But her nostrils just flare a little bit as she smells blood in the air.
He looks and goes, "You got a problem?"
No. Would this happen to be Diego? She holds up the phone in the video.
He looks and goes, "Yep, that's him."
The current hashtag for him is "Clop the Police," but okay.
Well played. I knew there was one in this.
We got there. We finally got there.
He just looks at you and goes, "You know what? All things considered, he's probably the one that started the hashtag."
Okay, fair point.
Oh, hang on. There's this one that's trending as well. Fuck the clops. Sorry, I just thought I had to get that in there.
Like that. If he just goes, I swear, if he had any decent presence on social media, he'd probably have enough money to move out of this and to buy this entire flat, let alone be renting out of it. Oh well, he's a wild card, but hey, he's good at organising people. He's a good speaker, as it were.
Quick question: do I notice the drop of blood on the clothing?
I say if you're looking directly at him, you probably do spot it.
Yeah. After about a few minutes of puns like that, I'm just going to point. I'm going to go, by the way, you missed a bit.
He looks at, what do you mean? He's starts feeling his face.
Oh, no, it's just there on you. Yeah, you're right there on your clothing. Just there. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Don't worry.
That's not coming out anytime soon. You're very perceptive, aren't you?
Comes with the territory?
Very perceptive, aren't you?
Recently, yeah.
He just starts looking at you, just like, what's your name?
Scott.
You don't look like a night person typically, Scott.
No, it's kind of doing both at the moment.
Busy man?
Incredibly. Also in a hell of a lot of danger, and also been put in situations which I feel that if I make a wrong step, I could be things could go badly for me at any second. That's a good way of putting it.
You're surprisingly honest for a man for talking to someone you've never spoken to before.
We all have our secrets, but we're just trying to give you a sense of good faith.
He bops into the room he was just in, closes the door behind him, and after a minute he brings out a glass. Here, have a drink.
I'm gonna put my finger into it. I'm gonna bring it to my mouth.
Please, it's cheap shit. You're not a connoisseur here.
It's just that I know that if it's what I think it is, I have issues with certain types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Does it set any reactions off?
You don't get anything repulsive when you start going into it.
Okay, in which case I'll drink it.
He watches you neck it down and says, like, you seem to enjoy that.
Way more than I should.
He looks at you, then looks at the other three, then looks again. Are they actually with you, or are they just randoms?
Is both applicable? I don't know. I'd like to think they're with me, but
He moves over to the kitchen and ruffles about through the drawers, and then turns to face you. You have approximately the next 10 seconds to tell me who actually sent you before I start killing people in this room.
Oh, great work there, Doc. Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. Well played.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We were sent by someone who goes by the moniker of Vic. However, we would have volunteered to help with the protests regardless, or at least I would have done.
He looks over to Scarborough. Is like, can you cooperate?
She nods.
I'm assuming you
Look.
as well.
Here's the deal. We got told to come find Diego, hand him a number, tell him to make a call. That's it. And then walk the fuck away. That's what we're here to do. Not looking to get shivved.
He closes the door behind him. All right. How long? He goes, sorry, I should be more clear. How long since it happened to you lot?
Scarborough looks at the others. It varies between us, but we were only told about this maybe 24 hours ago. Less than 12 hours?
Yes, something like that.
Fuck.
So, I mean, I've been feeling a bit rough for the better part of about a week, but it wasn't until very recently when everything made sense.
He exhales his smoke. It's like, so young. I'm sorry for the hostilities, but I feel as you lot are starting to become aware of our society, it's very hard to trust people around here.
Evidently. I don't know what's more worrying, the fact that I think that we could potentially be a threat, or there's something that obviously scares the hell out of you, because if it scares the hell out of you, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
It's like, you don't need to worry. I'm looking at you. He looks over you and goes, I'm assuming you're Finbloods too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm a Finblood as well. I'm not exactly an all-powerful being of the night. I guess if we're talking about how old we are, I probably weren't on the side maybe about 4 years ago at this point.
So what we're saying is, I could have took you.
I would like to see you try, Fat Man.
This is not the time nor the place.
JD's actually kind of thin.
I know he's just being pedantic. Look, he kind of walks up to you and goes, I see it like this. I know exactly what you're capable of. I doubt you know what you're capable of. I think I'll take you in a fight. If you really want to try me right now, feel free. But trust me, it's not a fight you're going to win.
No, I was just making bants.
Maybe you should learn to read the room.
Yeah.
I do have one thing I would like to ask you, if that's all right.
Sure, go for it.
Does it get any easier as time goes by?
He takes another drag from his cigarette. Define easier. It's one of those things where if you're one of the few people that were willingly sired, it seems like the greatest deal in the world. I'll be honest, I miss being able to go out in the sun. It's a trait that I dearly miss. However, I've learned to accustom to my new lifestyle. It comes with its perks, definitely. I mean, heck, I've met some really nice people as a result of this. Granted, it's you probably picked one of the worst cities to be living in if to become a vampire, all things said. But it's all right, I guess. It's definitely worse things you can be afflicted with.
I'm just gonna have almost a worried chuckle, because I know some of those worst things that you can be affected with.
look, it's not. I didn't get sired by choice. I'm not going to pretend I did. But I've come to accept what I am now, and if it gets better, it gets better. Is there really anything else you can do about it?
Guess not.
It's like you're in a different world, my friend, and this world is full of mysteries, things that you probably never would have imagined would be possible. But you're in it now. You might as well at least see how far it can go.
Making the best of a bad situation and all that, I guess.
Exactly. I granted, sometimes there are days you find yourself going hungry, because it's not very often you can find people that will willingly give you blood. I will admit, I think the idea of taking blood from unwilling people absolutely revolting. I've been living off blood bag donations for God knows how long at this point. Attacking innocent civilians just because you're hungry is something that revolts me. But it is. We're just like there's all kinds of different kinds of people. There's all kinds of different kinds of vampires. You said Vix was the one you was associated with. Was that correct?
Yep.
She's the one I think she is. I don't think she'd have a second thought of tearing another human being apart in order to feed. Vampires like that honestly terrify me. But it's the way it is. They see themselves above the food chain at this point.
Not an accurate statement, but definitely objectively wrong.
He looks at you and goes, I feel like that's one thing you're going to have to unlearn at this point. There is no objectionably wrong. There's no objectionably wrong in this world. Just whatever it takes to survive for most people, it seems. I have my morals. Probably my morals will end up getting me killed one day. But that's what it is.
Huh.
Anyway. Sorry for the deep philosophical talk. I'll see if I can get Diego on the phone. Just give me a minute.
It's all good we asked anyway.
The offer for more drinks is available to you if you want it. There's some bags in the room just there.
I'm good.
He goes on his phone and starts. He dials a couple of times and eventually gets through. Hey, I've got people here waiting for you. He goes, God, you can't really hear because he's not on the loudspeaker. Yep. All right. Cool. He said it'll be here in about 5-10 minutes. So he thinks. I don't know what mental image you have of this individual is already. You're probably already right. It's probably correct, but you might want to temper expectations a little bit.
Any way of addressing him? Is there any kind of protocol we have to follow?
Just call him Diego. He really doesn't care.
Right, okay.
5 minutes passed, and there is a knocking at the door. Does anyone look out the window?
I imagine Cedric would probably do that.
Kind of peek behind your curtains. You see a man with blue hair on top of a police horse. Can't see if he's, but he's probably looking up, and he's wearing sunglasses at night because, of course, he is. Like, hey, open up the door. Cedric kind of leaves the room and goes, I'll see to him 1 second. He kind of goes, it's like, what? You just kind of hear the conversation coming from the window. It's like, what the fuck are we going to put this horse? Why would you take this? And he just prepares what you heard earlier. Because fuck him. It's like,
glorious.
Like, we can't feed this. It's like, you just hear us like, come on, it'd be great. We can't even keep this anywhere. We live in a upstairs flat. Fine. You just see him smack it on the back and he goes, "Go forth, mighty stallion, and cause havoc." It's like, you just hear him mumbling to us, "When we move out, you're buying me a horse for Christmas." And he climbs up the room, and I'll get a picture for him now, because now you can actually see him face to face.
Hey.
And I'll quickly just tab over to the different tabs so the stream viewers can see it. 1 second. So, give that a few seconds. And we'll transition back over. Cool. See, he's like, he kind of brushes himself down. He's wearing a blazer jacket. He's basically wearing the exact same thing he has in the image there. And he kind of puts his glasses over his onto his forehead so he can see better. It's like, "I'm so sorry to keep you all waiting. Name's Diego." He kind of like holds his hand out.
I go to unless anyone else beats me to it.
I feel like you're the only one that's going to directly engage that way. So
I'm gonna take his hand and say, "Diego, or do you prefer fuck the clops?"
He just starts giggling. "Ah, you've seen my hashtag." He gives you like a fairly firm handshake. It's a bit overly grippy on your hand. It's like,
yeah.
He's like, I will admit my genius knows no bound when it comes to starting trending things on Twitter, I must say myself.
I appreciate.
I feel like Scarlett is referring to herself in that instance.
Rude. You kind of,
but not wrong.
Yeah, true. I wish I had enough followers to be able to start trending tabs when I felt like it. He kind of goes, "Anyway, so welcome to my," I think it's interrupted and goes, "You," as he points to Scarborough. "I feel like I know you. Are you like famous on the internet or something?"
I'm Scarborough Fair. You might have seen me on Instagram.
Oh shit, I follow you.
Shit, really?
Yeah, you're real good. I love your stuff.
She'll come forward and shake his hand as well.
What the hell? I didn't expect someone of I guess your class, shall we say, to take part in the protest. I figured you'd be above that. I guess I misjudged your character entirely.
Oh, you know, the world is just such a crazy place nowadays. It seems to be getting smaller every minute.
True right. He's just like, wow, I'm a little flustered. I wasn't expecting this. So, I'm Diego. I know you're Scarborough. What are your guys' names?
Well, JD will just kind of just nod and it's like, well, I go by JD.
Okay, JD. You? He points to Talon. Scott.
Scott Richardson. I appreciate the work you're doing this, but I'm going to say it right now so you don't get angry later down the road. We do have an ulterior motive for being here.
He just his smile kind of fades and he's like, "Oh, really? I thought you were going to have my bunch of freedom fighters." He points over to Zachary. He's like, "You with the green hair. By the way, nice haircut. Please tell me you're not ulterior as well, because you look cool."
Hang on, sorry, my Discord cut out.
He was talking to Zachary just then.
He cut off like halfway through what you were saying.
Okay, so it's like he just points over to you. He's like, "You with the green hair. Please tell me you don't have an ulterior motive, because you look cool."
I hate to break to you, I am with these guys. Name's Zachary.
That's like so. I thought I had a cool bunch of cool people joining me today.
Hey, look, I didn't have a choice in this. I got dragged into it.
How do you not have a choice of being cool? Or is that not what you meant?
Not what I meant, but...
Fine, I guess we have to be serious a bit. Just kind of slips into his armchair, kind of puts his legs on the arms and goes, "So, how can I help you?" Ignore
Scarborough?
Well, first, dear, to be fair, cool is a passive thing. You just kind of exude it, and if you're trying too hard to be actively cool, you're not cool anymore, you know?
He goes, looks to Zachary and goes, "Good point, well made."
But yeah, look, we were just sent here to meet you face to face and hand you a phone number.
Sorry, just taking mine on my meds. It's like, oh, an adoring fan must be the case. He just goes, he just kind of whispers, "It never actually is, but oh well, man can dream." All right, who's so after my attention they want to give me their phone number through 1, 2, 3, 4 intermediaries?
Let's see, who would you know in London who would send 4 emissaries just to hand you their phone number?
Oh god, you're not with the police, are you?
No.
Oh, hell no.
No.
Like,
Lightly knock on your door. They'd knock it down.
he just
Do we
goes,
look like a team that would dox you?
"Good point, well made." I don't know, Mormons?
Scarborough looks down at her kind of alternative outfit and just a really expression on her face.
Look, I know a lot of people. I also know a lot of people that don't like me, and thinking about them ruins my vibe, you know?
Look, since you follow me, you might be familiar with her as well. Zaros?
He just goes, "Ladies' hours?
Yes.
What the fuck does she want with me?"
Scarborough shrugs and hands the piece of paper with her phone number.
Aw, she's even crossed it off with a kiss. How delightful. So he just puts it into his pocket. So, you guys vampires?
Yes.
Half-bloods, really.
Ah.
Thin bloods.
He goes,
Thin-bloods.
the cool the cool kind. I like it. She's like, "Do you want a drink? Has Cedric offered you one? He better have offered you a drink."
He has offered us a drink.
Good.
He's most polite.
He just goes, "Good housekeeping, Cedric. Glad I can trust you." He just kind of scoffs at him and goes. He just looks and goes, "Well, you might have a slight issue. It's nearly daytime. I hope you, do you guys have any issue walking out in the day?"
I look at the others.
I'm personally fine.
He looks to everyone else individually.
I'm fine to walk out as well. I'm just thinking, how are things looking on the streets? Because we came here by tube. Are the cops locking it down?
Lockdown isn't the appropriate word. They don't have enough manpower to. Sorry, that's not progressive. They don't have enough force power to. To what's the word? Keep.
That's right. Neither is the map.
Oofed.
Secure their own city?
Yeah, pretty much. They're basically just trying to. They're trying to corner everyone into like a similar-ish spot, but I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, I got a horse. I mean, I can't keep the horse, but I got it.
I do mean what I said earlier. I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get injured out of this, and I know that things are probably going to get worse before they get better, and I'd be remiss if I didn't volunteer my services in some way. I do kind of owe Vix a debt for helping us out, but I have no issues helping you guys if you need medical assistance or any kind of help.
It's like, well, Mister. Already forgot your name. What was it?
Scott.
Scott. We will happily take anyone that wants to help the good cause if you was to assist with us. That is most helpful. We need every person, either undead or not, in getting the cause done.
I ask what the cause is?
Well, given that you're also vampires, there's a few things, but you know, it's a
Your
few.
main goal.
Yeah, what's the main goal? Use civil rights to the people, for the ending of police brutality, the utter abolition of Westminster. You know, small things.
That's ambitious.
Ambitious, but sounds fun.
Oh, it's hella fun. I stole a police horse. Have I told you that already?
We kind of
It's a shame you can
noticed
keep
it.
it.
Look, when I get my new home with a garden that goes on for yards, I will keep my horse. I don't know what I will name it, but I will keep it there. I have realized tonight that my end goal is to get a horse. And not have someone take it away from me, Cedric. But like,
And as great as that is, Diego, it's been lovely, honestly. But we did come all this way, politely waited a reasonable amount of time, and getting through the riots to get here wasn't exactly the easiest task in the world. So if you could do us a favour and certainly give Vix there a call, that'd be great.
Fine. I guess I have to. He pulls out his Motorola flip phone. Of course he has one. And dials in the number. And not too long, he gets an answer. Hello, gorgeous. And just after a brief delay, says, "Okay, sorry, I won't call you that again." Anyway, what do you want? Really now? He just starts laughing. It's like, and then his laughter kind of starts slowing down a bit. And after a brief delay, he goes, "I hope you understand that despite all this, he's still my brother. No, it means I want to be the one to take him out, not no one else. Well, I understand that I'm limited on resources. You know what? I don't think now's the best time for this conversation, especially when your lackeys are here. Yes, I understand that. We can have better talks when I'm in a better mood for it. And good. Now, if there's anything else you want to tell me, I'm going to be off. Bye." Well, he just looks at you. Well, that's killed my mood immensely.
Sorry to be a mood killer.
That's what it is. Why are you working for her?
Again, we have no choice.
You always have a choice. You could just run
A
away.
large
She
stack of
bragged
cash.
this.
So
To where? Because you know how this works. They know where we live. And any successful plan to get away is going to involve a little bit more time than what we had.
he just looks kind of like. He just kind of like saunters over to you after getting up. Look. You guys are about to get into something very deep. And you seem like nice enough guys and gal. No offense.
None taken.
I don't want. You seem like. You all seem quite young. Seem quite inexperienced as well. It'd be a shame to see you lose your lives as a result of it. If you ever need any kind of support, I'm willing to at least hear you out.
And it's much appreciated. And Scarborough stretches out a hand.
He gives you a handshake, but it's a bit more limp than it was before.
Hmm.
It's like, Why do they always have to be so fucking territorial about everything? If you see her when you get back to where you need to be, tell her that I'm willing to hear her out her offer. But it's going to be a lot of work from her part before I'm going to start trusting her again.
You trusted her before?
Yes. Until
Well,
she decided to do something very, very stupid.
Duly noted. We'll pass on the message to her.
Good.
and as you point out, it's almost sun up. We best be up.
Yeah, I need to start making sure all the blackout curtains are up properly before that happens, because I don't do too well with the sunlight, all things considered. Just be safe. Okay? Genuinely, that I say that as I wouldn't exactly say we're friends, because I've only known you about 30 minutes at most. But you seem alright. Just don't squander what you have. Okay?
Duly noted.
Now, Cedric, if we can have our belongings, I think we'll be off.
He chucks you the bag that he put them in. Like, I want to keep the bag. Just take them out.
Yeah, no bother. And I do exactly that. Like, I distribute them back to where they were and chuck the bag.
Can I have one of the blood bags?
You hungry, boy?
I don't know why. It just. Am I drinking more than everyone else? I don't know.
Everyone takes a different approach to how much they need. Some people get obsessed with the stuff. Others just have a passing need for it. You will obviously start deteriorating if you don't continue feeding, but I don't, like I say, you're fairly new to all this. We don't know how much you're going to need until you just get used to it effectively.
Okay.
Anyway, Cedric kind of pulls up and goes, at this point in time, most of the protests will probably have dispersed, because obviously there are probably a fair few vampires in the lot, and they're probably not going to do too well in the sun, so hopefully the police numbers will thin down. If you want, you can stay here till the sun rises, if you feel that'll make you more comfortable. If not, just go back whichever way you came.
What do you guys think? Should we stay here until it's safer out there and then we head back, or should we head back now?
Didn't we have one of us that couldn't day walk? Wasn't it cut?
No. Okay.
Everyone here
Is it Talon?
Everyone has day walk.
Yep.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought there was one of us that couldn't. Maybe getting confused with the eating thing, because I know some of us can and can't eat. Cool. Yeah, then I guess we might as well, right? Like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until it's safer out there.
He goes,
Yeah.
well, we're going to go into our rooms and get everything boarded up. Be sure to close the doors on your way out. It'd be sincerely appreciated.
Will do.
Diego kind of just starts sauntering off, and before he leaves and goes, he just kind of and he walks back up to Scott. He goes, you're giving me a good vibe, kid. So
Thank you.
he quickly scribbles out on a piece of paper and gives you his phone number. This is for all of you. Feel free to use it. If you don't, we could always use more bodies in the protest. It's much appreciated. But probably give me a day to calm down, if that's all right.
We'll probably be in touch.
Good. Anyway, he looks and goes. It's like, good night, I guess. It's weird that you daywalkers. You daywalkers are weird. Whatever. I'm going to sleep. Ciao. And he closes the door behind him. Cedric's just kind of in the room. I really should get into the other room before it's too late for me.
Yeah, that might be good.
He just looks up before he closes the door. He's just like, don't cause trouble.
No promises. But I'll try and keep out of the trouble as much as I can. Can't say the same for this lot, but they seem smart.
Take care. And he closes the door. About 30 minutes pass and the sun starts rising.
Yeah, I think we probably give it like quarter of an hour extra and then start going.
Yeah.
Quarter of the hour passes and it seems that you look out the door and the streets seem a lot clearer than they were. You do see there is a key in the door on the inside of the door, but it's not locked itself.
On the way out, I'll close the door if I can lock the door. Is there like a mailbox or something?
There is a mailbox, yes.
Yeah, I'll probably take the key, lock the door, post the key back in.
Very considerate of you.
I don't want to piss this guy off. He's terrifying. He seems happy, but that makes it even worse.
You kind of look around the street on you, and it's like, even though it's quite early in the morning, it looks like the cleaning crews have already started up. Some looking like city workers, others seem to be just like regular civilians also trying to help clean up the mess that's happening. Some people boarding up some damaged windows and all that kind of jazz.
Shall we just generally try and avoid the path that the protests took, and we just take a slightly more beelined route back to the tube station?
If that's what you want to do.
Seems sensible.
Just in case there's still cops lingering around trying to pick off lost lingering protesters.
The only police officers that are in the area that are seem to be like also at least helping a little bit when it comes to fixing things up. There doesn't appear to be anyone that's like being actively detained in the area. It looks like most of the people that were already caught have already been moved, and it looks like it's just trying to rebuild some kind of civil normalcy at this point. After about you kind of make your way past. You manage to make your way into into the tube station, and it looks like it's already pretty much reaching rush hour at this point as the tube starts filling in with people.
Oh, good. Yay.
Your tickets are still valid for your return trip, which is nice, and you make your way into the tube. After a bit of a longer return journey, given that there's more people getting in and out of the tube, which is obviously delaying the train from moving a little bit. But your trip back to the station was pretty much uneventful. Yeah, you exit the tube station. I'm guessing you guys are a little less. You're being less cautious, and you're just kind of following the crowd. Get back onto Lambeth Street. Pretty bustling kind of day, but it's not too chaotic. But after probably about a good leisurely 20, maybe 30-minute walk, you find yourself back at the High Moon nightclub.
Go to wherever we exited from, like a staff entrance or something like that, and knock on the door.
As you go to knock, you hear shouting coming from the inside.
I don't knock, and I try and listen.
I'd say the shouting's quite so loud that you can probably hear it. And the base of the gist of the conversation is, from when you start listening in, it's like, Oh, 1 second. No, sorry, I thought I heard something. Carrying on. The gist of the conversation is, I don't give a single shit what you think. You can get the fuck out of this club before I kill you. It's like, You can't quite hear the second voice, but you definitely do recognize Vix's. It's like, I don't care. Get the fuck out now. You've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, and then the door opens in front of you.
I step to the side to let whoever's coming out pass.
An older gentleman wearing, it's quite large, about probably looks like he's in his 80s, maybe his late 70s, early 80s. Quite overweight. He's just like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't expect anyone to be coming in the work entrance. I'm sorry for bumping into you.
That's perfectly fine. Are you all right?
Yeah, I guess. Don't know what you heard, but difficult people. What can you say?
She just shrugs and steps aside to let him pass.
He usually like, so I am so sorry. May the Lord provide you a good day. And he makes his way out. And I'm assuming you leave the door open to walk through. As you enter the room, going past the blackout curtains, making sure that they're not letting any extraneous light through, and you see Vix in the middle of the hallway, and she's smashing up some of the furniture. And after probably a good minute of it, you see it. She sees you and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in." She quickly kind of reorientates herself a bit. It's like, I'm not mad. I'm fucking livid. Fuck.
Vic, what's going on? It's a little early for Jehovah's Witnesses, and she gestures over to the door behind them.
Shut the door. Get in. Okay. She kind of just slams in one of the destroyed chairs and goes, she just calms down and says, "So how was your night?" She says with a bitter kind of teeth biting her lips still a little bit.
Well, we did the job, as you can tell, and we have a message back from him.
Oh, well, this is going to be peachy now, isn't it? What did he say?
He said he's willing to hear your offer, but it's going to need lots of work on your part before he trusts you again.
You know what? That's better than I thought it was going to be. Some good news this day, for once. I'm fine.
If you don't mind my asking, who was that person? Why are you so angry?
That was Father Grigori. He is an absolute prick. I feel like I need to explain you something before it makes any sense of why I'm so angry right now.
I wasn't going to ask unless you wanted to tell us.
Anton kind of walks into the room and is like, "Madam, would you like me to do it?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it, go for it." It's like, Father Gregorius kind of manages one of the churches in the nearby area. He's a holy man who has devoted his lives to helping others. He is also... he is aware of what we are. He is a human himself. However, he offers particular services that are definitely very questionable. He offers what he calls respite for vampires. He will willingly kill them in order for them to finally pass on into the afterlife, if there is one.
Oh.
He doesn't coerce. He doesn't incite. He doesn't even publicly offer it. It's just spread through word of mouth between society. He feels like he's doing a good thing. He looks over to Vix and back. Unfortunately, it involved killing some of our colleagues, and apparently he came over to inform us that's in case we were worried that they were missing. 2 more of our colleagues have decided that they don't wish to be vampires anymore. Vix is just seething in her chair right now.
Seems like Grigori is a problem.
I can't just go around killing priests, it turns out. That'd be a big no-no.
Who says?
Don't know. Last time I sent someone to shake down Grigori, I got sent back a half-dead vampire.
Oh,
So maybe time to find out who's protecting him.
That's what I've been trying to do, but it turns out when more of my guys are dying on an average month than they are than I'm getting new ones, not easy. She eventually kind of cools herself off and goes, "Look, I want that guy gone as much as the next person, but I don't think that's a job that you lot feel like you should be comfortable in doing."
JD shrugs. Wouldn't be the first priest I've killed.
She raises her
Barbara looks over.
She raises
I
her
look over as
eyebrow at
well.
you. Maybe you'll be more used than more used than I initially assessed.
You gotta figure that whoever did this to me had a reason as to why I was useful. Why I'm finding this stuff out from you rather than them. That's the weird question.
She just kind of looks at him and goes, "Look, I can't tell you why every Tom, Dick, and Harry sires another vampire. I haven't sired a vampire in like 160 years at this point. It's not exactly we do something for fun now, is it?"
Well, I mean, don't really need to when you keep taking in everybody else's waifs and strays.
Do you think I've been doing this that long? This is a new thing. I've barely been doing this a couple of years now. Anyway, how would you say the chat with Diego went? I don't know. I obviously don't know everything was said to him. Did he seem like a good sport?
He was
Generally.
probably fairly in high spirits when we first started talking, but he doesn't seem to be enthusiastic about more serious topics, if that makes sense.
He's probably less enthusiastic about me talking to him about enthusiastic topics. If there was anyone else, this would have been easier, but unfortunately, I need him right now. I suppose, seeing as you at least came back, you're at least trustworthy enough to start telling the whole truth too.
There's more.
Of course, there's more.
Fuck. Okay.
I mean,
No, this is something we need to know.
if you want to leave this door right now, the door's open.
Discreet glances over at JD.
I merely pull out the butterfly knife and flick it around a bit, doing a few tricks.
Okay. Goes, "Anton, please go lock the door." And he locks the door behind. She just kind of sits in the chair and starts vacantly staring at the wall in front of her. I was the one that tried to have Elijah killed.
Oh.
He's an absolute bastard and a disgrace to Vampire Society as a whole. Yet for some reason, the higher-ups are absolutely obsessed with him. He apparently gains results, but we don't know what it is he's doing, because apparently that is oh so secret. And unfortunately, I seem as I've decided to get you guys into the deep end. Diego is his brother.
Oh, great. So the person that came here hoping to find Finnbloods, us, and kill us, send us to his brother.
Trust me, his brother hates him just as much as I do, nearly. Just because they shared a family bond in life doesn't mean they're exactly on the same page.
Thinking back to the picture that we saw of Elijah, is there like a distinct family resemblance?
I will show you it up now. Show players. Show players.
Yes.
I'll quickly show this on the stream real quick. There we go. So it's like, she's just looking at her and goes, look, I want my life to be better. My life is currently limited by a bunch of psychopathic vampires that want to kill anyone that isn't in their own clan at this point. The Venturi are disgusting creatures, and they shouldn't exist. But they do. And I want rid of them. Diego also wants rid of them. Half these protests that are going on at night is to try and kill off as many vampire cops as they can, just so that way we stand a chance of killing them. We've tried being democratic with these people. Sorry, things. But it's not going to happen. I don't expect you four to kill off a high-profile vampire. But you can at least set the seeds in a way that we can get it done.
So this is like some kind of vampiric turf war, which is enveloping the whole of London, or is it just a few boroughs?
Depends. Unfortunately, because of the hostile nature of some clans to other clans, we don't know their full opinions. Some of the clans aren't particularly fond of the Venturi. The Brugia, for example, really don't care for them, and they're quite fond. And at the moment, as far as I can tell, they're pretty buddy with the Anarchs. Diego specifically, the one you spoke to earlier. I can get Diego on my side. I can get the Bruger on my side. If I can get the Bruger on my side, I have an army large enough that I can assault Westminster with it if I felt like it. But that would be really fucking stupid, so we're going to have to work harder and harder to drag them out. Which is where you lot come in. Unknowns. Rogue elements, if you were. You can get into places that I could never dream of because I would be attacked and murdered on sight. You lot, on the other hand, well, you're not exactly well known, is it? Well, you're well known, Scarborough.
I'm well known in life. No one really knows that, well, except for outside of this room and a few others, that I'm this now.
True. Well known to vampires. Let me rephrase then. The reason I want you involved is because at this point your lives depend on it. If the Venturi got their way, they would kill every single Finnblood in London, and they won't stop at London. They will spread out everywhere. I personally don't care if you're Finnblood or not. You're still a vampire. You're still part of the society. Granted, you're gonna have a hard time getting higher up in it, but you're still part of it. And if you want to live for more than a year without risking dying, killing a large-fledged vampire seems in your best interest. Would you not say that sounds reasonable?
Yeah.
I don't expect you to be murderers. That's more my thing. But if you work for me, You'll have beds to sleep in. I can't imagine you will ever be short of food. And you have some form of protection. If you don't work for me, and you decide to go elsewhere, I can't stop you. But I won't stop it. I won't end up destroying you if you get in my way.
Well, seems like you're offering to pay us in at least, a space to sleep and food and that kind of nonsense. I know I've done more heinous things for less, so.
She's sighing as finally it's the first bit of good news I've heard all day. She just kind of sighs and goes, "You lot want a drink?"
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Anton, get something nice for them. We'll discuss our next move in a minute, but right now I'm thirsty. And I think we'll end it there for the session.
Woo!
I think that's a pretty good place to end it on.
Just one last thing that Scarborough does while the drinks are getting prepared. She does look up Diego on Instagram and Twitter, and she does follow him back.
you notice he has a meager 400 followers on his Instagram, but a good 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Wonderful. Let's see if I can help with that.
You're going to shout out Diego on Twitter and Instagram, are you?
Maybe not quite yet. We'll just wait for it to immediately settle down, because the idea of the Ventru tracking her movements and who she's talking to via social media is probably really fucking stupid.
My next question would have been, are you really sure you wish to do that?
No. She follows him back so that she can DM him, but that's it.
Okay. I think that was pretty good.
Scarlett's a benevolent DM. She offered you the chance. She was offering you the idea of, would you really want to do that? Letting you know it was bad. If that was me, I'd have just had bad guys show up 2 weeks later.
You forgot to turn off location services. Fuck!
I'll give everyone an additional 3 whole experience points because I feel like that's pretty appropriate. So keep it consistent per session. And I think that's it for now, unless anyone has any quick questions they want to ask.
I was just going to give Scarborough Diego's phone number and make sure she puts it in her phone.
Okay.
She'll also want his phone number as well, but yay.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hopefully, same time next week it'll be up. VOD will be on YouTube on Friday. By the if you came in late and you didn't get a chance to watch all of it, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.